All right, here we go. So your mom decided to rickroll you. That is crazy. Is she just playing it over and over? That's pretty funny. So, do you do any more of your Minecraft mod packs? She turned the speaker on a while ago. The old Rickroll. I gotta get set up here. It's been a minute. Been working and finished my job today. Then I had to go out and fix. We have some chickens. I had to fix our chicken coop. They keep going into the neighbor's yard. And the neighbors are friendly, but I don't want to annoy them. Get the fan going here too. Too much light. You work anymore on your Minecraft mod pack? The bedrock. Let's see. Yeah, just firing this up now. I saw there was an issue a second ago with it where none of my scenes were here, but I just needed to do an update. So we're good to go now. Yeah, you just kind of worked on it a bit. Let's see where we left off. Now I know still have some bugs I need to fix. The fire enemies, we're having some issues. But they are burning the towers. I could implement HP on the towers so that they can technically die. Probably need to do a timer as well, but I don't think I'm going to do a timer on the towers just yet because it's going to depend on the tower type. So that's going to be a matter of balance. But I do need to make those, I think, sticky so that if the tower is removed, they are removed. So I think I'll start with that. And let's see, let's run this one more time here. Got to go do some homework. Oh man, well, good luck with that. It's important though. Knock it out. Hopefully it goes well. Have a good one. All right, so I think what I'm going to do next is fix those particles that are burning the towers that the enemies inflict. Just finishing getting set up here. All right, should be good to go. So let me find which particles those are. I think it's going to be under enemies, objects, right here. Particle tower on fire, behavior, sticker. So it is, it is a sticker. I think I just need to tell it to stick to the tower. So let's go to the events. Game scene test. Here we go. Go to the events. Let's do particle tower on. That will get us there. So right here, this is where I have created the particle, and this is where I need to stick the particle to the tower. So this is at the tower base. So let's say particle tower on fire, stick to tower base. And then very similarly, we're going to stick the smoke to the tower base. Now, in theory, whenever I delete the tower, if the tower is destroyed for any reason, those should also be destroyed. And success. All right, that's that. One small victory, and many more to go. So next, I think I would like to track down maybe the reason why those lights are not, they're not behaving properly. They're being assigned a null X and a null Y coordinate, despite giving them an explicit coordinate to spawn at. So all right, let me see. Let me go back and retrace my steps a bit. Let me see what the name of those light objects are. Must be down here because I did not put it. Yeah, light, enemy, fire. Let me explore this. So light, enemy fire, pretty standard. It does have the sticker behavior. Destroy when the object it's stuck on is destroyed. Only follow position. No variables, no effects. Pretty straightforward. So I'm very confused as to why. I always forget that I can edit these over here now. That's pretty nifty. Very confused as to why they're just going completely haywire. All right, so this would be whenever let's see, enemy fire. Oh, no underscore. So right here, this is where I create the fire enemy. So I'm just going to have to go through this line by line and really figure out what is going on here. Create object enemy fire at this position. Spawner red X, spawner red Y on the base layer. Create object, the other half of the enemy, at position. Enemy spawner red X and Y, base layer. Create object, this is the light right here. Create object, light, enemy fire, at position. In this case, I just told it go to 100, 100, so I can just watch it spawn. And I'm putting it on the lighting layer. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put this, I'm going to put it where the enemy spawns, which is the proper thing to do. And then I'm going to, so that's on the lighting layer. Then I change the position of the enemy. I just offset it a little bit. And I create some text. Change in opacity, and here I stick a few things. So stick the light to the backer. Although it seems like everything else is getting stuck to the particle emitter. I could try that. It shouldn't make a big difference. Let's see if that makes any difference. Because if I say it's not going to do something, it probably will do something. And lo and behold, it does something. Look at those nice, bright, flaming enemies. It's honestly a pretty aggressive enemy. It's fast, it's fiery. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. That was driving me crazy last time, and it was just a matter of sticking it to the other half of the enemy. So, that's interesting. Alright, that is... That's 2 issues solved tonight. I'm going to put some notes here on the screen. I'm going to do a text object. Let me see here. Text. The font will be Franklin Gothic Medium. So we solved the fire enemy light, the tower flame sticker. And all right, so yeah, pretty good progress. Not sure where I put that text just now. So let's just double check this one more time. So we've got a couple of towers out here. We call in the flame enemies. These guys are on fire. If one of these gets destroyed, the fire goes out. And then let's try. All right, so it will persist if the tower type changes. I still need to fix these moons. I could do that. I could work on that. Because that's been annoying me. Maybe this is a night to get rid of things in the game that annoy me. That I've been putting off because I'm lazy. Oh, here's my stuff. It's over the chat. All right, so just trying to put my little working notes up here on the screen. All right, so with that being done, let's go to the moons. And I'm not exactly sure how to do this. This is going to be interesting. There's a reason I haven't fixed it yet. And it's because these moons are spawning out of an extension, a community extension. So let's go down to the scene event where the moons spawn. I don't even know the exact name. But if I go to here, that's nothing. That's nothing. So this is create object moon at position here. What does happen when we create the moon tower? Click on the button. Is there one under there? Under the black hole? Not sure. Let's go down further. Alright, so it's right here. Repeat for each instance of the tower base. If the animation of the tower base is the moon tower, and if it's not frozen, then animate a number of moon. This is a number right here. So animate this many copies of the moon in elliptical orbit around the tower base with a vertical radius, horizontal radius, and speed. Foreground side is top, rotating, blah, blah, blah. So how do I access these copies? I might need to pull up the documentation, as crazy as that sounds. Because if I could just link them to the tower base, then I could find them, but I don't know how to access them. Maybe, what if I click into this? Let's go to the underlying events. Okay. Create object, orbiting object at position. Right there. Link orbiting object and center object. So it looks like they actually are linked. Then take into account all orbiting object linked to center object. All right, I had to step away for a minute there because of, life. All right, so I was looking at the underlying events here for this orbiting moon, these orbiting moon objects. And so what I'm seeing is that they are in fact linked to the center object, which is the tower base. Or I guess there's a moon somewhere in the middle under the tower base. So, and that moon is linked to the tower. So when the tower is destroyed, that moon should be destroyed. But these copies remain, and I want to get rid of them. So delete, oh, here we go. Delete orbiting objects if needed. So if the variable linked object quantity of center object is greater than get argument as number orbit quantity. Oh, I think this is just deleting It's interesting. What else do we have here? Delete orbiting object. So I should be able to call this. I might have to do a little more digging on this one. Because I think what's happening is the center object is deleting. But I think it's getting deleted before these other things are deleted. So let me pull up some documentation. So gdevelop orbit. Delete orbiting objects that are linked to a center object. So I guess I need to figure out how to delete the center object after the orbiting objects are deleted. That seems to be the trouble. So what am I doing? There are different ways that the tower could be deleted. So I could manually delete it. The enemies could potentially destroy it. So what I could do is trigger a Boolean called something like destroying tower, and if it's true, it will first check if there are orbiting objects and delete those, and then proceed to delete the whole tower. Maybe that's a solution. I also need to get rid of that black hole, which should be simpler. Let's do that first. So here's the black hole. So I should just be able to handle that with a sticker. So let's go with tower, no towers, tower objects. Black hole particles. Those are already a sticker. Black hole is not, and I don't know why. That's an oversight. There we go. So when it's created, let's stick that to the tower. Copy that. Let's do the particles as well. Now, in theory, that will have done the trick. Boom and boom. And again, it's just these moons being a bit finicky. A bit finicky, eh? All right, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to, at least, I know what I want to try to do. I'm going to go to the tower base, add a variable. It will be called destroying tower. And then right here, repeat for each instance of tower base. Add an event. We'll say if that variable is true, check if the value is true, and if so, this is in theory where we will call deleting those orbiting moons. This is not, I want to try this. I really doubt it's going to do anything at all, but I'm going to see if this will do the trick. If not, I need to do what the documentation is saying to do, which is to call this function. So, but I also need to go up to wherever I have the, whatever it's called. What is it called? The thing I use to destroy the towers. The dynamite. Wherever I put that. Deconstruction. Did I misspell that? Deconstruction. Okay, let me search that in my events here. So right here, I guess it's not right here. I need to go to wherever, let me see. Like, so if that is active, I cannot type tonight either. Deconstruct. Oh, let's see. Man, it's been a long day. Hopefully everyone's had a good week so far. What are we on? Thursday night, so we're getting to the weekend. Almost there, people. We are almost to the weekend. Oh, deconstruct active. I think that's what I'm supposed to be looking for. So right here, so if the Boolean value of scene variable deconstruct active is true, left mouse button was released, the cursor or touch is on tower base. This is where I will say, I'm not going to have it do these actual events. This is where I'll toggle that scene object variable for the tower. And we'll set that to true. Then it's okay. Let's see, I'm going to copy these, but I'm going to disable them here. Then I'm going to go back up to where I do all my checks for the various towers. So right here I can do a sub event. Let me drag that upward. And I'm going to paste in here. And let's see. Let's do one more event here. And here we'll say, we'll do a check for that variable. So if destroying tower is true, and then right here we'll say what will we say? What are we going to tell it? I'm going to copy this event down here. Put it right here into a sub event. So if it's true and if it is a moon tower, if it's a moon tower, I'm pretty sure we can delete the tower head. We can delete this light. Then I think we want to move this event from down below. Let's try putting that here. So first we would take into account, excuse me, all moon linked to tower base. And again, I think this isn't quite going to work, but we'll see how it goes. Haley May 23 says that Emma 666 is bashing you guys on her channel. She's bashing who? Who's Emma 666? I mean, if someone's bashing my code, I wouldn't argue. Let's see what happens here. Might be a bit of a dumpster fire. Oh man. It is in fact a dumpster fire. Those towers immediately disappeared. Did I set the variable as true? I don't think I did. Very interesting. How in the world did that happen? I hear birds, and we don't even have birds. That's how I know I'm losing it. Okay, so just retracing my steps here. Let's do deconstruct and so again, right here we said if the value of the scene variable deconstruct active is true, the left mouse button was released and the cursor touches on the tower base, then change the variable destroying tower of tower base and set it to true. Then these things are all disabled. Let me do something here real quick. All right, so I've just got that. That's the wrong one right there. Just pulling this up on the other monitor for a second so I can cross-reference it. I'm going to go back up. Oh, right here. This must be the problem. How did that get there? What is... That's dumb. Alright. Fixed that at least. Wow, that got dark. Holy crap. Well, we're definitely making things happen. We are not treading lightly tonight. So... Again, set that to the moon tower, hit deconstruct. That is weird. It's like deleting all of the ambient light. I probably don't need to manually delete this other light. Is the tower head... Let's just try this. Hopefully this is not deleting those lights now, because that'd be pretty dumb if it is. So I'm going to place the towers out here and select moon. Let's just start with one at a time. Delete. Okay, so it is having some problems there. So when we tell it to delete this tower head, now I'm wondering, did I ever link those? So not right here. It should be whenever the tower itself is created. So let's go up to that location. Right here. So whenever the button is clicked for the upgrade, it's going to... It's creating a moon at the center position. It doesn't even have a true tower head. So that code is completely unnecessary. I'm going to get rid of that. Right there, get rid of that. Don't need it at all. Let's test this again. Still not happy with that. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. So right here I could link the moon to the tower base. That might help. Let's link two objects. Let's pick moon and tower base. Say okay. Let's give it a shot. Still need to delete the black hole as well. I thought that was going to be a quick fix. So here we go. We got the orbiting moons, the black hole in the center. But when I change that variable, they just kind of freeze up. It's like, what am I paying them for? Ugh. So the moons are more complicated, but why is the black hole not deleting? Let's check that out. I guess it's because the tower base itself didn't delete, right? The black hole will delete when the base deletes. Yeah, so it's just sitting there. So there's something wrong with my variable logic. So let's go back to that. Okay, let's walk through it step by step. So repeat for each instance of tower base. If the variable destroying the tower is true, then we want to check if it is a moon tower based on this animation. And if it is, so I need to actually tell it to delete. I did not do that. Computers only do what you tell it. So take into account all of the moons linked to the tower base and delete the moon. That part's not working out too well. It might actually be deleting that moon, but I think we're stuck with those children orbiting moons. So let's see if this at least deletes the black hole out of the center and the tower base. And I didn't implement this earlier because I didn't know I would have these weird orbiting moons, which they function a little bit differently than some other objects. Okay, so we're down to this far. So we're getting rid of everything else. And Windows is trying to restart. Do not restart right now. I'm gonna pick like 4 a.m. or something. I swear, Windows, you're so needy. And close. All right, got that. And then what else? Hey, George, how you doing tonight, man? Good to hear from you. Just over here trying to debug some stuff this evening. We've gotten a couple knocked out. Supposedly debugging, I don't know if this is a myth or not. Supposedly debugging came from in the olden days when computers took up the size of a room. Bugs like mods would get into the physical equipment and short it out. So they had to literally debug the machine. I guess that's where it came from. Yeah, non-programmer. I mean, honestly, it's just logic. So the problem is when it's illogical. How's your week been? All right, I'm gonna chase these moons down. I might have to go to the underlying events here. Take into account all orbiting objects linked to a center object. So full name displayed in the editors. Delete orbiting objects that are linked to a center object. Yes. Time just flies by. It's kind of crazy. You finished Ted Lasso. Starting Slow Horses. Nice, nice. Any big plans for the weekend? I might be going camping, so I'm looking forward to that. Kind of cool weather now here in Oklahoma. 60s, 70s, so I can't complain about that. My favorite TV show of all time. That's a good question. Probably, if I answer quickly, one that pops to mind is I was a really big fan of Serenity and Firefly. That was a nice, quirky little space western. Not sure if you saw that one. There's only one season and one movie, but that was a pretty fun one. I think if I spend more time on that question, I would get analysis by paralysis by analysis. So I'll just answer quickly and leave it at that. Yeah, Serenity / Firefly is a good one. I liked that one a lot. I wish they had made more. And Breaking Bad was good. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it was... Let me ask you this. Why Breaking Bad? Why does that stand out to you? For me, I really enjoy the fact that they're willing to actually change, like kill characters, which makes you stay on the edge of your seat because you don't know, like literally anything could happen, right? Okay, so I'm going to move on from this bug. Let me just fix my ability to delete towers in general, and then I'm going to add an enemy tonight. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And for the slow pacing, it sure did manage to give you chills, didn't it? It wasn't like slow and droll. It was like slow and suspenseful. Always trying to anticipate whatever was going to happen next. And in my case, I was often wrong. All right, so I'm going to fix deleting towers, and then I'm going to add an enemy tonight. It's going to be a green... Maybe I'll just jump straight to the enemy, and then I'll debug after that. I should have it in existence. It's going to be more of a matter of implementing it back into the game. This guy right here. Enemy toxic. Not to be confused for your toxic partner. So I just need to create an event to call this guy in. Way up here. Okay. So right here I've got enemy fire. In fact, let me see. Because if I collapse all of these events, I've got one event or one set of events per enemy spawn. But they take up a lot of space. So let me see if I summoned that toxic enemy anywhere. It looks like there's one occurrence. Okay, so that's good. What I need then is to go here, and I'm going to add another line for my random number generator. And if it selects the number 7, that's going to be the toxic enemy. So let's drop that down. And this is where I always kind of screw something up, because it's going to be a copy and paste job. But instead of enemy fire, this needs to be enemy toxic. And I need to copy that into all the right spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so that's that one. And then we need We don't even have an enemy backer for this thing. So I need to create one of those. Because my enemies are in two parts. The part you can see and then the actual sprite behind it. Which I can do more like physics type, 2D physics with. So I'm going to take this medium one and I'm going to duplicate it. Like that. That should be it completely. Homework feels like a punishment. Yeah, welcome back. Bro, I went through high school and I got good grades and I felt really burnt out by the time I got to college. And I did college, but I felt so burnt out. And I eventually finished college. And I'm glad I did. But man, sometimes you just want to get out and do things and not just study. But what I've learned is the ability to study, the ability to learn, it's always needed. Like even right now tonight, I'm learning things, like literally pulling up the documentation. So even if what you're studying isn't necessarily your favorite, I would say keep it up because it's working out that muscle that will help you learn things like your Minecraft mod packs and such. So, but it definitely sucks sometimes. Did you miss anything? No, I was just working on fixing another bug and the bug got me. So I am now adding a toxic enemy. Adding enemy number 8 to the game, Ocho. And just doing some copy and paste stuff here. It's kind of a sludge monster. They're all shadow enemies. Like darkness, shadow, demonic, supposedly. But some of them have an element to them. And this is one of those. Okay, create enemy toxic at that position. Enemy toxic, light enemy. I need to create another light. And so I'm going to call it light enemy toxic. So I'm going to go to wherever I put that. What kind of thumbnail was your friend needing? I'm glad it turned out all right. So I'm going to take this light. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to call it light enemy toxic. And then I'm going to change the color to something a little bit green. Not totally sure how bright I want it. So I'm just going to start it with like something like that. Just almost true green. 81, 255, 0. And I'll just give it a radius of 120 is fine. Oh, a thumbnail for a video. What kind of videos does your friend make? And here we will do light enemy toxic. You did a little bit better this time with your eyes closed. Good job working on that. You never know when you're going to need that skill. I wish I was joking. Okay. We got a lot of that going. So enemy spawner red. Lighting, change the position. So right here, need to change these. Get this toxic enemy into the game. It is time. It's just been sitting there since the early days. All right, enemy backer, toxic, text. I've got to take my time here, because last time I took forever having to come back and fix what I messed up. Any big plans for the weekend? I'm hoping to go camping. By hoping, I mean I am going camping. And I bought a new tent. All right, I think that's about it. We don't need these timers though. Wait, what was, go back one. Almost done putting this into the events here. Flame cone. I guess I need that. All right. Let's give this a shot. I need to tell the spawner to only spawn number 7. That's going to be this enemy. So a random number in range from 7 to 7. And test. Yeah, no plans for the weekend. Well, hopefully that means it's pretty chill and relaxing. It's not a bad thing. They're hard to come by. Okay, let's do an arcane tower and a holy tower. And let's spawn the enemies. Here come the toxic guys. Groceries and family. You sound like me. All right, these guys seem to be functioning just fine. They're not taking damage just because I haven't told them to take damage yet. So that's not a bug. It's just a to-do list. All right, I'm liking this. That's good. So I just need to... I wanted to test something. The arcane tower was not targeting them. So is that... Let me just real quick see if it'll target the regular ones. It will. And you know what I want to do? Let me save this real quick. Because I was thinking, and that tower just reminded me, I would like to use one of my other projects. And I don't remember what I called it. Let me see here. Oh man, I really don't remember. Not that one. That was for a video. I want to use some fireworks I made. I also made a bunch of random AI games here because I was looking for, well, that's not one of them. That's actually a reflection test. But it doesn't work in my game because it seems to be screen wide. Whereas if I wanted to make just a little puddle, it would go outside of the puddle and it would just reflect all the way from left to right. So that's what that is. Not that one either. And I love the names that the random AI will generate. Here's a game called Shy Trousers. Ignorant Berry. Vogue Smell. I never change them. I love the names. That's 3D. We don't want that. Corey, we already opened that one. Okay. I'm going to have to go to my page. Because I don't even know my own stuff. Okay. It is... Dang it. I'm looking for my video I made on fireworks because I want to find the game file so that I can use the code for right there. I want to use the code for this game, but I don't remember what I saved it as. But here's what I'm doing, or here's what I want to do. I want to put these into the game as like projectiles. Not necessarily like that, but similar to that. And that's what my arcane tower is currently doing. But I want to get some of this fiery, sparkly stuff. But I changed the game name at some point because whatever I named it here, oh, where did I put it? I changed it from that name. I was being a little goofy there. Anyway, I'll do that later. Let's finish up this enemy guy. Yeah, I made those fireworks right around July 4th, which is our Independence Day where we shoot a bunch of fireworks. So that was the inspiration there, but yeah, slow chat, you know, I think people are still out trying to enjoy the weather before it gets too cold. And I don't blame them. All right, let's go back to the game. So we need to make sure that the toxic enemy can be targeted. And what else? It's already cold there. What kind of temperature is it? let's set this back to 7. $25. So the Holy Tower is targeting them. What about the Flame Tower? Flame Tower says no. Why is the Holy able to do this, but not the other ones? That's weird. Uh, 25. That's about what it is here, actually. A bit colder at night. Okay, so I need to fix targeting of that enemy type, and I also don't know. Let me see here. Oh, I wanted to see if it's getting the all of the variables it needs. Maybe not. I think actually I know why. So if I come out here, I created another object for the enemy, and it's going to be this red dot. I need to add that to a group. So if I go to this group here, I need to add it in. Right there. That should be the issue solved. Yeah, I generally understand Celsius, but I use Fahrenheit. So if I'm looking for if I want to get it down accurately, sometimes they use a converter. I don't like our system very well. I prefer metric. I prefer Celsius because they make sense. And we use them sometimes. For example, metric system, we use millimeters for camera lenses, tools. But if you pull out a tape measure, most people are going to be looking at the US standard and not the metric system. And they measure temperatures in Fahrenheit as well. So instead of 0 to 100 for water, it'd be 32 to 212, because that makes sense. All right, let's see if this does anything now. It is not. No, they're dying. Oh man, 10 to 20 over there. Did you say you're in South Korea right now? Am I remembering that correctly? Okay, so the last time they were dying immediately, I had this issue where I set the maximum health to 0, and that is exactly what's happening here. Well, actually 0 should mean no maximum. So that shouldn't be the issue. Starting health is at 37. Why else would it be dying? Korea. That's right, I'm visiting in the future. Haven't gotten around to it yet. I've got Europe coming up next year, and I've been to parts of Europe, but that's going to take up my budget for 2025, and then yeah, I might make it out that way. Let's see. Let's just test this. Put 100. Make sure that that's working. That shouldn't matter. All right, toxic is part of that group. Let me go back to where I spawned the guys, the toxic ones. Set the health. Maximum health is set to what is that noise?
I made that.
Lovely.
Hey yo, I think it's better than the abibi kababi whatever mom made.
Yeah, because if that's your morning alarm, you're going to want to turn it off very quickly. That'll wake you up in a hurry.
I'm saving it.
Send it to your mom. I swear. That was Sam making noises on his Snapchat or something. 10 years old. Yeah, he's my son. Stepson. Knucklehead. No, he's just really young, and it comes through funny on the microphone. He'll smoke me at Fortnite, though. I'll tell you that. Okay, so change the health to... Change the maximum health of the enemy to the variable max health points. That seems redundant, doesn't it? Why do I do it that way? If it's already the max health of that object, why am I resetting it to that? Change the health. Change the maximum health to... Let's see if that did anything. I doubt it. Yeah, we played some Stardew Valley. When it comes to PC gaming, we've been doing some Stardew Valley as like a little family game. So that's been pretty fun. Really chill. There we go, it's targeting now. And they're taking damage. The little scoreboard there is working. All right. We're cooking with grease now. Whatever the saying is. What do I do for work? I'm a cybersecurity assessor primarily for cloud systems. So, but what does that mean? It means I evaluate third-party information systems to make sure that they're in compliance with various rules and regulations. I'm not so sure about that closed eye statement. You're gonna have to practice more with the eyes closed. You're gonna have to keep working on that. You're gonna get it though, one of these days. Okay, so, well, that was good. I'm gonna add this to my little text here. Not that one. So we got the toxic enemies into the game. I'm going to take these little wins as they come, so I'm putting it on the board here. Putting it on the board. I haven't caught the latest podcast yet, but I need to watch it. I'm gonna watch that one up next. The Quest Unplayed podcast. For those of you who are unaware. Alright, what's next? I was not actually expecting to get as far as I did. I guess I have to go back to bug squashing now. Because I don't have anything in mind in terms of building the towers. I'm working on a little system, and I'll show you what I'm working on. It's preliminary for sure, but since y'all are here, I might as well share. Let me make this not pure white so it doesn't flashbang you. One second. I'm working on a thing over here. So what I'm thinking about is right in front of you here, there are 8 buttons for tower upgrades. And each tower has one or more abilities. But to make things interesting, I would like to have the ability to merge elements. So for example, if I have the water tower and I have a moon tower, which is like basically stone and gravity, if I were to combine those, they might actually make a freezing tower because you combine water with like petrify and that would become a freeze. So adding the abilities into the game is easy enough, but I'm thinking about unique ways to merge the elements. So if you have an earth tower, maybe it's shooting like spike growths or something like that. And then you have a holy tower, which is your life source, kind of. Then the combination there might be the equivalent of your plants versus zombies sunflowers, which generate health. And those are already in the game too. Not literally sunflowers, but these little guys here that spawn your light, which is going up right now. So combinations, like hybrid towers. And with that being said, this is going to be kind of bright. I had this little diagram that illustrates that point. So if you have, again, this would be like moon and like water. would allow you to freeze enemies. This would be an example of your holy tower, which is kind of a life source. And this would be an earth tower, which is like flora and fauna. You get your life generating sunflowers. And so then I was thinking, what else could I do? Could potentially do another branch off of the holy tower would be to pair that up with your water tower, because I have this sort of Diablo style Fist of the Heavens attack, which includes lightning. In fact, I think I need to re-enable it. Let's see, where did I put that? Right here. So if I re-enable that, yeah, I was trying to blind you there. Hopefully I got you. You're gonna have to type with your eyes closed now. And it's taking forever to load. All right. It did not like me updating that little event. Cue the Jeopardy music. What is going on here? All right, let's re-disable that. Maybe we don't need it. I don't know. Let's pull up a preview again. Yeah, go for it. Next message, eyes closed. And if it's not too much trouble, maybe you can talk to the gdevelop folks and let them know something is slowing down their servers. And it's not my fault, I swear. Honestly, it's probably just my connection. Any minute now. But yeah, so let's see if I can. Need to make these white. Then I can make the background darker. Here in Canva. Wasn't even necessarily planning on showing this. This was just a little mock-up I did for myself. Really need a spreadsheet for that. So again, what I would do next is keep fleshing out the different hybrids I could get out of this. And so that's something I'm just kind of mulling around in my mind. So if we can get this holy tower to work properly. Every so often it's supposed to trigger a lightning bolt thing. But that is this event that I disabled. Let me save this. I'm going to close out and come back. Maybe it'll work a little more efficiently. Just a little more efficiently. Working on getting my Discord up as well. I know you had asked about that. So I just haven't gotten around to it. This was written with my eyes open. Dude, I keep exiting you and entering YouTube and entering Bridge somehow. The card game? This was written with my eyes closed. Anyways, seeing a BGT the Laurent screen ein Aring tuos as Urkel would be nice. My thoughts exactly. All right, let's see if we get the lightning. There we go. So that event right there, or that ability. So it's a holy tower, that's the theme, but it does some lightning damage. So it's doing lightning. Then if you were to pair that up with a water tower, theoretically you would get some kind of enhanced shock effect, right? So that's why I'm thinking of, ignore that, doing these hybrid things. And you probably get some way to, you collect resources of some type, like a crystal or something, and you can plug it into your towers to link them together. So that's what I would like to do. It would be a system I need to kind of start from the ground up. What else? So I've put the toxic enemy into the game. The fire enemy is able to set towers on fire. The freezing enemy can freeze your towers. And the toxic one, I'm thinking of a couple of things there. Maybe when they die, they leave sludge behind and it speeds up nearby enemies. And maybe if it dies while close to your tower, it applies some sort of a debuff, either damage or maybe it slows your attack rate, something like that. We already have burning, so we don't really need another direct damage over time. You meant to say this was written with my eyes closed. Anyways, adding a BG to the loading screen and adding tips as well would be nice. Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Maybe I can do that for the next stream. Let's see. Loaded pretty well. So as the toxic guys come past, you know what? Let me look at that real quick. Let's see what we can do there. See if we can plug in a loading screen real fast. I found a Bob Ross photo. What color do you want the progress bar? This was your idea. You get a pick for tonight. What color? Red? All right, let's see how this looks. We'll do a half-second fade in. All right, and apply. Moment of truth. And I'm going to say a minimum of 5 seconds just so we can enjoy it, because if it loads faster than that, we're not going to see it. There we go, people. We have a loading screen, so we've got Bob Ross while we're waiting. We're just going to turn all these mistakes into happy little birds. Maybe a couple of trees and bushes too. If you make a mistake, just turn those into a happy little bush. Look at that. The bar is right on his paintbrush handle. How did you manage that? Impressive. Okay, so thinking about what I want these guys to do to my towers. Yeah, pure coincidence. I want some sort of a debuff. Maybe something along the lines of attack speed reduction. Because fire's already going to damage them and maybe destroy them. I've got ice enemies who will freeze them. Which will... I mean, that's technically setting their attack speed to 0. So that's technically still in the same ballpark, I suppose. But these guys won't automatically... They're not going to automatically apply a debuff. They're going to splash when you kill them. And then I think periodically like poop out sludge to speed up enemies behind them. Something like that. Make the Bob Ross image dark and a little blurry. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a bit bright. I just threw in something random that I had on my desktop. Don't ask me why I had it on my desktop. Let's try this. So it's going to be a couple of things. One, I need some sort of... some sort of a sprite. And I don't think there's going to be anything in the assets store. I don't even know what I want, but I just need a quick placeholder object. So... not from device. I want from the... I want from the asset store. Why is it not giving me that option? Oh, how odd. Okay, I'll just find something from my device then. That seems to be an engine bug tonight. I know they just did an update. All I'm looking for here, in fact, maybe, can I not create it here in the Piscal editor? Yeah, let's just do this. I just need a basic shape. It's just a placeholder. So I'm going to do like, oh, I don't even know. Let's say, something like this, resize it, and let's just do just a very basic shape to tell us that this is a puddle of slime. And then later on, I'll worry about making it look like something for real. Okay. Yeah, after smartphones started doing actual graphics, there was not really a need for the emoticons anymore. I mean, now they automatically convert emoticons to emojis. I remember entering those on my Razr flip phone. The old one, obviously. Apply. All right, so this is going to be, we'll just call it sludge. Maybe even call it toxic sludge to get the word toxic in there. Behaviors. Don't think it needs any behavior that I know of. We can add destroy if it happens to go outside of the screen. And we'll just give it a margin of, say, 200. Don't know why it would be. And it's actually pretty big. I might need to scale that down. Let's scale it down real quick. So resize the content. Let's just scale it down. Instead of 160, let's say 120, and then maintain. Something like that. Resize and save. And as for the points, that looks fine. Apply. All right, that'll work. So what I want to do then is we need to add a timer. Let's add a timer to the toxic enemy. So we will say right here. So welcome back. Right here, we're going to say we need to do, first of all, do a check. And that check will be are there toxic enemies on the scene? We'll do that by seeing how many there are. So if there are more than 0, then we will do this stuff. So at that point, we're going to repeat for each enemy. Actually, that's going to be a little bit messed up. Let me see here. Okay. We'll use that object instead. Got to grab your chest. Rare footage of Corey yawning. Not that rare, trust me. Oh, man. My friend makes fun of me. She's like, how can people want to watch you stream when you look bored yourself? I'm like, I'm not bored. I'm just tired. It's been a long week, all right? All right, so repeat for each instance of enemy toxic. I need to break this down into a couple of sub-events. So I'm going to drag this here, drag these here, cut and paste right there. And then we need a timer going. So we're going to check the value of an object timer. We'll call it toxic sludge drop. If it's greater than or equal to, let's say, every 7 seconds. We better do a random number here, just so that they're not all the same. We'll do a random number in range We'll say anywhere from, let's say 7 to 12 seconds. And if it is that amount of time, it's going to create an object. Toxic sludge at the position of enemy toxic.x, enemy toxic.y plus 20. Is that right? Let's just put it directly out, x and y. So then, there we go again. Then I need to add the timer to the enemy whenever I create it. Right here. So we'll start or reset the timer, and I will set that to well, first of all, I'll change this right here to toxic. Right there. Boom. And then after it creates the toxic sludge puddle, it will need to start or reset that timer. So let me actually copy that event right here, go back down, paste it in here. And again, this is not going to look good. This is just to kind of prototype out an idea. And my phone is dying. Why is that Bluetooth on? Here we go. We're going to get to see some more Bob Ross here in a second. Stand by. There we go. Then we need to darken this, you said. This is very important stuff, you know. Oh, what you got? You said you made something? What's your concept? He has a nice fro, man. Look at that. Very iconic. And one of these days it's going to actually load the game and we'll get to see if the code I wrote works. The codeless code that I wrote. Let's see here. Tell you what, send me the same thing, but without the loading bar. Without the loading bar, and I'll plug it in. I'll use it as a temporary. That'd be a good thumbnail for now, until I decide on a final one. I like that. Use Bob Ross too. Yeah, because I mean, something like that would be, first of all, not an eyesore. Secondly, it would make sense. Send me the same thing, but take out this stuff here. I mean, you can put the text in there if you want. I kind of like the text. You can still see old Bob Ross right there, too. Okay, while that's loading, sent it without the text. Yeah, go ahead and add the text. I like that. I like that font. It's kind of cool. I mean, obviously this is just, you know, temporary, but it's kind of funny and I like it. And since the servers are loading so slowly tonight, we're gonna need something to look at. In the meantime, I'll try to debug this real quick, see if the enemies are pooping out puddles of sludge. One could only hope. So for anyone just now hopping on, I'm working on my tower defense game here in gdevelop. It's been over 6 months now, and I'm just getting all my enemies into the game. Working on adding a sludge enemy that will debuff the towers and simultaneously speed up enemies behind them. And we're going to see what kind of weird, unexpected behavior we get out of them. Right now, they're just moving along. They're not really doing anything at all. So I'm going to set them on fire because they deserve it. They did not do what I wanted them to do. So let's double check the logic here. The logic says if the number of the enemies on the scene are more than 0, then repeat for each one of them. If the timer is equal to or greater than 7 to 12 seconds, it'll pick a random number and range. Then it's going to create the thing at the position of the enemy. Oh, I put it on the particle layer. Let's put that on the base layer. Maybe that was the issue. There we go. All right, here we go. Our nifty little blurred out Bob Ross thumbnail that is not a flashbang white screen at the same time. I think it's right on point. Yeah, thanks for sending that. It's kind of funny. All right, let's see what these guys do. All right, they're creating these weird puddles. They're kind of like all up on top of each other though. So that's a starting point. If I pause this, we can see that it's spawning kind of down below them. So let's fix that. We want it to spawn at enemy position Y, but we're going to subtract the... Let's try subtracting half of the height of the toxic sludge puddle. So enemy toxic Y minus the puddle dot height divided by 2. Then we can also make that maybe a little bit opaque, or transparent rather, just because even though it's only placeholder art, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. So let's set that to 150. What else? Then let's do... I think it should have a time to live. So let's do a timer on that thing itself. So here we'll do... if the number of toxic sludge on the scene is greater than 0, then we're going to have them delete themselves after a while. So we're going to start or reset a timer here for the puddle. We'll call it TTL, time to live. And then down here we need a repeat for each instance. Repeat, oh, that's the wrong thing. We need a for each object. So for each sludge, if the timer how long should they be there? 5 seconds? So if that timer is greater than or equal to 5 seconds, we'll say delete. Okay, that should work just fine. Let's go ahead and give this a test. Okay, so now they should poop them out every 7 to 12 seconds each. They should then delete themselves after 5 seconds each. And they're a little bit transparent. Obviously, where they're spawning is way down below, so I need to work on that as well. And I would even say scale them down. So let's scale it, make it smaller. Let's set it to 0.7. And then let's also see toxic Y. So negative should go up. Minus, let's not even divide it by 2. Let's just subtract the whole thing. And let's change the random in range anywhere from, say, 7 to 20. They're really piling up. Six to 20, something like that. And then the other thing I'm going to do is, see, we could add maybe a little effect onto the puddle too. Wonder what this would look like. What happens if I just drop one out there? Actually, that's not going to be quite right. We'll just let the enemy spawn it. Then after this, what I'm going to do is start checking if other enemies are in range of these puddles. And if they are, they get to move faster temporarily. They get a buff. Any minute now. All right. So I'm not really digging the bulge pinch effect I put on it. It looks kind of funny, but it's getting better. Maybe not that. We could do a we could give it a motion blur. It really doesn't matter. I'm just playing around at this point. Tilt shift would be kind of funny. Or actually, I was going to say RGB split would look kind of funny. Let's just do that because it's amusing. So then let's, basically for all enemies, I want to give them a speed boost if they're in range of this thing. So let's do right here. So if the number of enemy backers on the scene, let me double check how I'm moving these things. So all right, so I think it's going to be behavior based, which means the movement is part of their behavior. So if I go to the enemy objects over here in my panel. Also, was I moving the backer or the particle emitter? I'm moving the group, which would be the particle emitters. So that would be right here. In fact, if I open the group itself, we have all of the enemies in there. They have group variables, but the behaviors are still currently on an object by object basis. Which means we have the pathfinding. So the speed is going to be based on a per enemy basis. So let me think. I think we're going to need a couple of variables to execute this. So those variables I think will include, well, let's go to the group. So we're going to add, I'll say buff, speed boost, and maybe speed boosted. And then, so if that's true, if it's triggered to true, then obviously you add speed to their current speed. But when it's set back to false, yeah, that'll work. We can do this. We should only need one variable. Made a design for the toxic sludge. What you got? Cannot be worse than the thing I put into the game. Okay, so if I go to behaviors, for example, this small enemy will move at a max speed of 115. Let's test this with just the most basic one. So this will be the medium enemy, which has a current max speed of 100. So here in the test events, hey, that's not bad. I like that. Yeah, I can put that into the game here in just a second. It's kind of cool. All right. You've got to do your toxic sludge research. You never know, you never know when someone's going to come along and critique you on that. It's important stuff for sure. All right. So yeah, thanks for hanging in there with me, folks. I'm just slow tonight, but we're making good progress here. So I'm just going to add the event for whenever an enemy's within range, they get that boost. So again, if the number of these things on the scene is greater than 0. What I really need though is not to check for that. I need to check for, let me add a comment here. Am I even spelling that right? That's how long of a day it's been. Okay. All right, so we have a slime image. Let's grab that real quick, and why not? We'll put that into the game. What size are we looking at here? Let's bring this down a bit. Let's try 80 by 80. Lost a little bit of quality, but it should still be good. In fact, then we can get away with not having to rescale it. So there we go. And right here, we'll add this condition. So in fact, I'm going to copy and paste this one in here to make it faster. We got to get a move on. So if the number of enemies living on the scene is greater than 0, and then also if the number of toxic sludge living on the scene is greater than 0, and if, right here we'll do a for each event. I know, I just turned it into pixel art. It's my fault. It came in at 1,000 by 1,000, but most of these images are only about anywhere from like 50 to 150 per side. So you'll lose a little bit of quality there. Repeat for each instance of enemies. We're going to do distance to the toxic sludge. And let's just say if they're within 150 pixels, then we will trigger the Boolean variable. So we'll set that to true. And in fact, let's also say if that variable is already, if it's currently false, because we don't want this to just trigger over and over. So if it's currently false and it's within range, then set it to true. And then we're also going to say if basically the opposite. So In fact, I think I need to drag this down and do a couple more sub-events. Right here. I think I can literally just copy and paste this and then invert. Let's try that. So if enemy's distance to toxic sludge is not below 150 pixels, and if the variable is true, then we're going to change that to false. And right here we will say enemies speed I'm not sure if I need speed or max speed here, but we'll say we'll set it equivalent to speed times 2. Something like that. Something to make it pretty obvious. Yeah, man, you're the only one chatting. I see people popping in and out, you know. Hopefully they're having a good evening. But a little bit quiet here. They're probably amazed by your pixel art or your slime that I turned into pixel art. But we're about to see that in action here in a second. As placeholder art until I get some real assets into the game. So change the max speed on the path of enemies equivalent to enemy speed times 2. Let me come back out here and look at the behavior, because I'm really trying to remember. So for example, the medium one here. So max speed, I think I need to change the max speed. Okay, I think I need this one. Enemies dot pathfinding max speed times 2. Then what I'll do is reverse that. So I'll divide it by 2. Hopefully this works. In fact, I'm going to log a message to the console here just to help me identify if it's even triggering as true or not. And I'll say, yep, true. And then here I'll say not anymore. Yeah, credit goes to you for chatting. That's all right, though. I mean, sometimes I hop on a channel and I just like to observe. Some people like to, you know, take a back seat. Maybe they're listening while they're gaming, something like that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I get it. But definitely kudos to you. Appreciate the art you are sending over. The Discord server is in the works. I'm still working on getting all the permissions set up. But don't worry, I've got you on there now. And once the server is live, I'll definitely give you an invite. Okay. Let's see if these guys speed up at all. They did. All right. It's working correctly the first time. That is crazy. And also that looks pretty funny because I left an effect on your image there. So we probably don't need that effect on there if we're going to use your art. That effect looks kind of funny. We could do a glow though and give it sort of a green. That's pretty cool. I didn't, it's always a pleasant surprise when the code does what you want it to do. As simple as it is, I take the small wins. Let's see here. That's pretty good progress tonight so far. So well, let's send in some more. Obviously the placement is still a little bit off, and it kind of depends though, right? Let's see if we can get one here. So like that one spawned way down here. The reason being is the point. So let's open up the points on here. Oops, not the collision mask. Way up there. So let's put the origin point somewhere on the visible image. In fact, let's put it right on the center as well. Again, you know, this is just kind of placeholder art, but I mean, it's going to look like toxic sludge at some point, so it's definitely what that looks like. So in fact, having fixed those, I don't think we need to readjust the position up here where they're created. So let's just center it on the enemy when they drop it. And what else was they doing? Yeah, let's run that again. I found a piece of old paper from my attic. It fell out of the attic. It's like an old scroll, piece of parchment. And I was going to save it for Foley sound effects because it's from 1984 or something. Just so you know, I might be putting that into the game. There we go. That is now spawning right underneath, well, rather on top of the enemies. So what I want to do is put that slightly underneath the enemies rather than on top. So we do want to change the Z order there. Yeah, I got that paper from my attic. It fell down when I opened up the pull down ladder. It's just instructional. Like, I think it's about how to install an attic ladder. It's kind of hilarious. And now it's going to go into a tower defense game. Okay. Z order. So for this, I think I need to call the enemy Z order first. Some people call it Z. Let's try Z order enemies Wait, no. I'm modifying the Z order of the sludge. I'm setting it to enemies dot Z order. I think -1. Let's see if this does the trick. It should be underneath the enemies now. I'm hoping. All right, let's see if this works. It does. All right. Let's try this now with all of the different enemies spawning and see how that goes. You don't know what to say, and neither do I, man. Neither do I. So let's spawn enemies 0 through 7. And so that's 8 enemies now. We should have 8 enemies in the game now. We have 4 kind of basic ones, which are going to be a small, really fast one, a small fast one, a medium, and then a large slow one. Then we're going to have ice, a shielder, fire, and now toxic sludge. And if you look really closely, the people might see Bob Ross over here. Like, it's literally loading so slowly that tonight was the night I decided to put in the splash screen. Thanks to Blaze over here. All right, here we go. We're going to get a random assortment of enemies. Look at them go. My babies. But we want the green ones too because we just made them. Come on. There we go. There's one. And he's got a shield now. And it does seem to be speeding up the rest of the enemies around it, which is really good. That worked out really well. All right, let's set him on fire. Mission accomplished. I need to fix my deleting towers because I broke that tonight. So if we ignore the fact that I broke some stuff, everything went perfectly. Not bad. All right, what else then? So it does look cool, doesn't it? Yeah, when the enemies are burning. In fact, I think it's a little bit buggy. Now that you mention it. Let's test that out real quick. Let's call in the bigger, slower ones, and let's set them on fire. So we could add smoke easily. I thought I had created smoke for them, but maybe not. Set up a flamethrower tower here. Actually, maybe over here would be better. Nope, no smoke to be seen. Only when they die. Yeah, the fire doesn't even look great. We could do some things to fix that up a bit. Let's move these couple of objects up above. And let's grab... I want the particle emitter that I'm using for... Maybe the one I'm using for the towers. I want this one too, so let me actually grab that. So I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to call this one particle enemy this would be enemy on fire. Drop that here into the folder under, yeah, I guess right here is fine. I think that's all supposed to be inside of this other folder. Someone posted Java packs. How does that make you feel? Is that sacrilege? Yeah, that's a little odd, isn't it? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Might have to have a talk with them. Well, if they're posting stuff that's not even theirs, that's just not cool. Are they selling it? All right, I had a moment where I forgot what I was doing. Getting the fire sparks onto enemies that are burning. So let's go to enemies and flamethrower tower, which should be right up here somewhere. So enemies and flame tower. Why is that not orange? I'm going to make that orange. Okay, and then, so we create the burning flame. We also have burning flame particles, but we don't have any smoke. So you got to use verification files to even get it up on the site. They're using Java packs. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what all goes into those checks, but that sounds very interesting. Has anyone been downloading your pack? I know you said you got that uploaded last week. I need a smoke. Where is a good smoke? Let's make a new particle emitter. We're going to do this from scratch. I'm going to grab the smoke base emitter, and then we're going to tweak that. I'm going to call that particle enemy on fire smoke. And we're going to do we don't need that many particles. Let's do 200 max at a flow of 20 per second. We're going to do an emitter force of anywhere from 50 to 120. Maybe 140. Spray cone angle of 45. Let's maybe make that 30, but with a radius of, let's say, 5. No gravity. The minimum lifetime is a half second. Maximum lifetime is a second, so 1. That should be fine. Start size is 10. End size, let's say 20, and then we'll do minimum rotation speed of -20, maximum of 20, and delete when out of part. No, it's going to have infinite particles. It does need to have the sticker behavior. Destroy and only follow the position. Apply. Let's drag one of these out onto the scene and see how it looks all by itself. Nice, you've had 1,000 people view the pack. Well, that'd be 999 people besides me. That looks like a year. 1991. No, that's good, man. That's almost twice as much as you were saying. That's almost 2,000 people. Okay, that's way too small. We're going to need quite a bit more than that. Let's increase the size of each particle. and maybe the number as well. Let's do start size of 15 and end size of, let's say, 30. And let's do the max should be fine. 20, 40, 60. Let's try 30 particles per second. Let's see how that looks. So now that you've uploaded your first Minecraft Bedrock mod pack, are you going to work on any more? Do you have any plans for that? I think I might even change the ending opacity. It's just so hard to see. Oh, that's probably why. It's starting at 127. Let's start it out at, let's say, 225. End opacity of maybe 5. And I still want, I think I want them to be bigger. Because smoke plumes and it expands, right? All right, let's try this. This should be quite a bit better. And then if I like it just sitting there, then we'll also test it. Well, we'll apply it to the enemies and see how it looks when they're moving. Any minute now. Cue the Jeopardy music. That'll work. We'll start with that. All right, let's do this. So here we're going to create the burning flame. I'm just going to literally copy and paste this thing. And I think I'm going to this should be particle, enemy on fire, smoke. At position, that position. Then I want to do the sticker behavior stuff. I think that's it. Let's see if that works. And let me also delete this other one off the scene. And with any luck, it's going to look a little bit better. Just working our way toward what's going to be an actual game. Would really like to get the get a public demo going for this thing before long. Hopefully before the year is out. It's just been a really busy season for me. I mean, I'm under 40 development days on this thing, but it's been 6 months. All right, so we're going to set these guys on fire. Actually, that's really hard to... And we're going to see how it looks. Oh, I forgot to change the direction. Dang it. All right. Let's change the angle of the particle. Forgot to do that. It needs to point upward. We gotta suffer through another loading screen. This is probably it for tonight. Oh, excuse me. It's been pretty productive though. Let me see. To recap what we've done. We fixed a fire enemy light, so the fire enemies are now brighter. We fixed a tower flame sticker issue, not a flower. We added toxic enemies to the game, and then we got the toxic sludge going too. That was its own whole situation. And now this thing. So now these guys, it looks a little funny because they're bigger enemies, and the fire sprite is like on top of them. Welcome back. So it looks really funny on them, but let me try spawning in all of the enemies again. We're choosing a car for a school thing. What kind of school thing needs a car? Now let's go ahead and spawn all the enemy types again. Right here. So 0 to 7. And preview. This might be the last preview of the night. Yeah, making pretty good progress tonight. Gonna call it wraps here pretty soon, but definitely appreciate everyone hopping on, and definitely appreciate the art assets you sent us, including this Bob Ross. All right, let's set these guys on fire and see how it looks. It's kind of just killing them too fast. There's also something goofy going on here. Something is losing its coordinate. It doesn't seem to know where it belongs. I keep seeing something go up to 0, 0, which is the default when there's a bug for an object that doesn't have a coordinate. Oh, in fact, it's the meteors coming out of the towers. They don't know what to target. But I am spawning some of these enemies I haven't spawned in a while. So it's probably those. But the slime is looking good. Yeah, not just yet. But now I think it's goodbye for the night. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to continue to stream every Thursday night, hopefully an hour earlier than I did tonight. And I'm going to keep working on this Dark Tower Defense game. And so far I've had a couple of you all help out with some of the art. I had a fellow help me with the background here on this one. Definitely appreciate the collaboration. So hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And when I talk to you again next Thursday, I want to hear about how it all went. So until then, thanks for watching, and I hope you have fewer bugs than I do. Thanks.